Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So this is going to be a video about the Logitech G305 KDA wireless gaming mouse, which is this mouse right here. I did an unboxing video when I first got this mouse about 2 to 3 months ago, and somebody commented on that video today requesting for me to do a follow-up video. And so for them, I'm going to kind of create this video right now. Just kind of basics. What I'll do is kind of go over the basic features of the mouse, my overall impressions, and kind of give my overall feedback. My hope is to answer any questions you might have about it when you're interested in purchasing and things like that. If you have questions, please post them in the comments and I'll try to answer them if I can. Otherwise, I can try to look it up if it requires additional research. But for now, what I'll do is just set up the camera closer up so you can see the mouse in closer detail, and we'll get started. Okay, so here's the mouse. I'll move my keyboard out of the way just so you can see in closer detail. But this is the Logitech G305 KDA wireless gaming mouse. Essentially, it's a wireless mouse, doesn't have any plugs in anywhere. Strictly as wireless. It comes with a dongle. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but it's right here. So a classic USB dongle that you can plug into your USB port, and that allows the wireless connectivity. Additionally, it comes with this extension cable that is also USB connected that allows you to bring the wireless dongle closer to the mouse, so it minimizes the amount of interruption or kind of disconnect it might have between these two. So I have it set up where this dongle is kind of right at the base of my computer, right out of the way, and then the wireless mouse is kind of set up. So as far as the mouse itself, so wireless, we talked about that. It's pretty standard as far as your basic setup. It's got the two regular mouse keys that you typically have, a roller ball right here that clicks as well. Below that you have this separate button here. That's actually a DPI cycling switch, and so if you click it, it has different colors below it that represent different DPI settings, and you can customize the speed at which you want for the DPI depending on what you want to do. I'll go in that in detail on the screen, but that allows you to essentially have different scrolling speeds for the mouse. And so for me, I think I have like 5 different settings customized for it depending on what I'm doing. And while I'm working, I'll just kind of click this here and there to adjust it based on what I'm doing. So that's a nice, very nice feature that other like lower end mice might not have. So that's that. On the side here are 2 separate customizable buttons for whatever you want to do. When you go online through Logitech, you can download the G Hub app, and that allows you to customize these switches or the other buttons for different things, depending on your setup as far as gaming and things like that. Initially when I first got this mouse, my aim was to use these as like a side-scrolling feature, so I try to customize it where when you click this, it would like scroll left, and this one would scroll right. But the issue I ran into is you'd have to like repeatedly click it to scroll. So that's kind of one drawback as far as that. So if you're trying to do something professional with like Excel or data sheets, there's a limitation because you can't really scroll sideways easily with this, which is kind of a drawback. But if you're kind of professional from that aspect, you probably wouldn't go with this mouse. When I purchased it, I was really looking for something that could kind of double up as like a gaming mouse as well as for work. And my initial hope was being able to customize that so I could do side scrolling with that, but unfortunately that's a limitation of it. That's kind of the top, the bottom. Essentially it has these like rubber pads, typical type of thing, and the laser right there. And then there's an on-off switch right here that kind of shows red or blue depending on whether it's on or off. So when you turn it off, you can just turn it off and leave it off and kind of switch that way. And then as far as, I'll take off the cap here. As far as charging, it's got at least, so first off in here, there's a spot for the dongle switch if you want to bring this somewhere else. And then for charging, it requires a AA battery. This is actually a relatively nice feature because with the AA battery, it never goes dead. And so even if I leave the mouse on overnight, I don't run into the issue of having to recharge it or connect it to a wired cable or anything like that. I really have had no issues. I've repeatedly left it on overnight and it hasn't been dead or anything like that, even after 2 months. So let me just slide this back on. Sorry, it's like stuck there. All right, so that's on. That's pretty much the mouse as far as the features. As far as different colors and things like that. This is the KDA edition, which is, I guess, through League of Legends, some random thing like that, and then it's like a special edition for that. I ultimately purchased this one because there's a white and black version that I kind of wanted to purchase, but it was on back order and it was going to take about 2 months, so this was about $10 more, and I purchased that instead. And it kind of goes with my desk setup as far as the style and color, so it's a nice color for that. And then kind of other feedback is, at least for the white model, there's not much wear or tear like on it. There's, I think, like a little smudge there, but you know, it still looks very crisp and clean. Typically with like a white mouse, I was worried about whether we get stains or something like that over time, but I haven't ran into that issue after 2 months. But that's I think everything for the mouse. What I'll do now is just show you the screen, kind of how it works as far as on the screen itself, and I'll show you the G-Hub app. Just give me 1 sec because I'll bring the camera up so you can see that. Okay, so hopefully you can see this on the camera, but this is the G-Hub app. This is, all you have to do is go to Logitech.com and you can download this when you first purchase the mouse. What you do is essentially turn on the mouse, so it's inactive because it's not recognizing it. Once you turn it on, it'll automatically recognize it. And then you can just go to this and double click this here. And that brings you to this screen that allows you to customize the mouse depending on the features and things like that. And so first what we'll do is go over the different DPI speeds that you can customize it. So this is what I was talking about earlier, this switch right here, which allows the different colors and DPI settings. So if I toggle this, it'll change the color here, and as you can tell, it'll change the specific speed on here. So for instance, this yellow one's 1000, this white one's 2000, this is 2600, this is 3200, and this is 3700. So I have 5 different settings that are set, and the color is coordinated that way. And what I'll do is I'll show you essentially how fast the mouse is depending on that. So this is like the 3700 DPI, it moves pretty quickly. This is the 1000, it's much slower but not too slow. This is kind of middle range 2000, 2600, and then 3200, and then back to 3700. I found that in this range it's pretty useful, but if I took this and kind of extended it out here, it's very sensitive, so like it's almost non-functioning, so if you're doing regular stuff you won't be able to do it. But as far as speed, like obviously you can get super fast with this up to 12,000, but the amount of control you have with that is kind of limited. So I keep it kind of at 3700 as far as capping out there. So I have 5 different settings for that. You can always restore to the default settings. I didn't like the default settings just because they weren't really customized to what I would want. You can change the response rate as well as the performance as far as lower, high performance for the battery. I keep it on high performance, haven't ran into any issues as far as battery longevity. So that's kind of this screen when you first get in. If you click this other separate one, this allows for customization of the mouse itself. So it'll show you the different buttons that I talked about earlier, and you can customize each of these depending on what you want to do with them. Additionally, there's 2 separate profiles here that you can change it from default to G-Shift depending on what you want to do. So one could be like a work setting and then the other a gaming setting. And then on the left side here, it shows the different possible assignments that you can do for it. So you can do different commands built into the computer, different keys, actions, and then macros depending on like setting it up for specific games and things like that, or system commands. So what I do is I set it up where like scroll left and right for these side buttons, but you can always adjust it. So if I take any of these, I can just drag it to whatever button I'd like, and it can customize it to that. So it's a nice feature. But that's kind of everything built in here. I don't think there's anything really else. You can change your profile as well up above within the G-Hub app, but I haven't really done anything with that. I've just kind of customized the mouse itself. It also shows the battery length, so even though I purchased this 2 months ago, it's still full bars as far as battery, which is great. So that's the G305 mouse. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, please comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have about it. If you're interested in purchasing it, I'll put a link in the description below to Amazon. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested, and have a great night. I appreciate your time. Thanks.